Hello. Hey. People love to tell me they hate this shirt. It's a polo shirt, actually. Kind of looks like pajamas, doesn't it? It also kind of looks like something that, like, old men who don't care anymore about anything wear. Like if you go to Miami Beach and you meet one of those like 85-year-old guys that's uh, mostly cancer spots and melanoma, liver spots and melanoma. One of the shirts that they wear. So maybe I shouldn't have bought it. I've had it for years. I'll edit that out of this video. Sorry about that. Planned collapse. When I started talking about this a couple years ago, obviously it was not the first to talk about planned collapse. It was a theory. It was conspiratorial when people said that there's a planned collapse going on. But now basically everybody thinks that's the case. There's a new report saying that a large percentage of those making, I can't imagine, I do know why and how this is happening. Those making $250,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, I'm not even making six figures, i.e. $100,000, much less a bit over twice that, i.e. $250,000, not even close. Of course, I also don't have any, I don't have a wife or kids and a house payment or a car payment. I do have lots of bills. Gas, water, electric, phone, cable, cell, house insurance, car insurance, property taxes, obviously. So these people obviously do have those. They probably have house payments and car payments and little rugrats and whatnot. And so I see that. I have said now for some time that when the average nationwide here in the United States of gasoline reaches, and I know there's plenty of parts in the United States where it's way over $5, but when the national average reaches $5, the country is going to break. Canada, by the way, you could look at what Canada did just a couple of days ago, basically 48 hours ago. Made major restrictions on defense tools, shall we say. Also, too, unfortunately, making it much easier to get hardcore, formerly illegal narcotics. I don't know how long that's going to go on, but that's just... if you wanted to implement tyranny, you would prevent people from having the ability to defend against tyranny, but you would also, too, make them, lazy and, basically doped out. I mean, that is what has been done in countless institutions in the past. There are institutions that purposely keep people placid by doping out their food and other things that are prescribed to them. It's really quite horrific. Anyway, the United States is saying that being the government, of course, that it can't do anything to lower gas prices, but it is the very source of these higher gas prices. Not only did, of course, the United States close down Keystone Pipeline, shutting down huge Alaskan oil leases. Same is true not only of Alaska, but also, too, of Texas. But as a cover-up of all of this, they're blaming Russia for everything, which is completely ridiculous. The United States, of course, along with certain European countries, are performing a proxy war with Russia, which they can use to blame on all food supply problems, gas problems. U.S. government, I guess this might work on stupid people. Maybe it is working on stupid people. Somebody with a half a brain is not buying that garbage at all, the proxy war that's going on the other side of the earth with Ukraine. They're going to blame that on American food shortages, supply chain issues. Oh yeah, gas prices were shooting up like a rocket long before Russia rolled heavy on Ukraine. So Australian energy collapse. I was looking at the graphs. I did not know this until an Australian buddy of mine told me this, that three of the roughly five major energy entities in Australia are owned by the CCP. I did not know that. Anyway, the graph shows a doubling of costs. There's a video and from the chief executive, Luke Blinko, telling people to leave his company, Reamped Energy, as soon as possible, that it would save households hundreds of dollars. He said prices are about to go up. They're going to keep going up, and we simply don't want to be passing those kind of costs on through it. It's basically like a retail store having somebody at the door saying, you know, if you come in here no more, we don't want you coming in here. Have you ever heard of an energy executive telling its customers to leave because prices are going not only up, but they're also too doubling? Australia is sitting on, here let's just point out the facts. I don't know if you know this or not, but the United States has more oil than Saudi Arabia. A lot more! Australia is sitting on 70 trillion cubic feet of proven gas reserves as of 2017. Australia has proven reserves equivalent to 44% times its annual consumption. 44, not percent, excuse me, 44 times its annual consumption. Australia has proven reserves 44 times its annual consumption. I'm just using United States and Canada as an example here. Australia, excuse me. They're also pulling this same charade, this same puppet show debacle, this Trojan horse nonsense up in Canada too. We have tons of oil and resources here in the United States. Tons and tons, just enormous amounts, way more than Saudi Arabia. Australia, apparently, I did not know this until I confirmed this. Australia has essentially the same, the same wonderful reserves. This is a planned collapse. You can't call this anything other than a planned collapse. Old Captain Happy, the President of the United States, was just on a couple hours ago talking about wanting to clamp down on certain things and tools. I'll let you guess what he was talking about today, here on June the 2nd, 2022. Absolutely everything shows and points towards a planned collapse. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you're crazy. Come on. Come on, Mr. Fat Bald Tattooed Guy. You're crazy. There's no planned collapse going on. I'd really like to know who thinks that a planned collapse is not occurring. Honestly. Gas is shooting up nearly every day. The best experts say, genuine experts, say that gas before the middle of June, which is basically a week and a half away, will reach nationwide average, reach $5 a gallon. It's already really, really bad and at the breaking point. Food prices are astronomical. Every expert said that those are going to keep going up. Gas prices are very, very soon going to reach $5 nationwide average. The United States is absolutely going to break. It's going to break. It's the way you see something really, really large crumble or fold. It'll start to fold at the periphery, and the people in the center aren't going to see it. It's kind of like when the Germans rolled heavy into Old Paris. The people came into the center of town and said, hey, the Germans are rolling down the street. You might want to get your stuff and get out of here. Like, that's all right. Only the people that have their head on a swivel and see what's going on, acknowledge it fully. There's a lot of people, really, they're just so busy trying to work and pay the bills and feed their kids and making ends meet. They really can't. They're not looking at the big picture. Not at all. I don't have time for that, they would tell you. I spent my entire life looking at the big picture. It's probably why I should have got into the stock market. I could actually make predictions on things. Nobody has 100%, and I don't want to be wrong on this. I would far prefer to be wrong on this. Absolutely everything shows a planned collapse. Absolutely everything. The notion that the government of the United States is blaming old Russia, and I know what Russia did, okay? It wasn't NATO that put X number of 100,000 troops on the border and rolled heavy on Ukraine. It wasn't NATO's fault, and it was not America's fault, excuse me. It was not the United States' fault. But the notion that we're blaming United States gas prices, we have enormous reserves. They're blaming Russia, which is a fool's errand, but there's a lot of fools out there, I'm sure, buying it. And we're cutting off all these oil and gas leases. Shut down Keystone Pipeline, shut down all these oil leases, gas leases in Texas, but also, too, a large number of them in, I forget the exact location. The oil and gas leases in Alaska. No, this is a planned collapse. Australia is doing the same thing. Tons and tons of reserves. This is a controlled demolition of the United States. The Australians I talked to confirm the same thing's happening there. I did not know this too, and this is just so evil and tyrannical, it's unbelievable. I did not know this was still going on in Canada. Canadians confirmed it, and I recently heard that it was confirmed, that if you're Canadian, whatever province, BC, you're not allowed to travel between provinces in Canada, much less come to the United States, unless you've had the stab juice. What kind of, or you can't travel on long-distance bus or rail lines unless you've had the stab juice? What kind of tyranny is that? Actually, I know what kind of tyranny is. By the way, this is a quote from me. Tyranny has one face, and one face only. The face of tyranny is to oppose, destroy, and control everything which stands in the way of tyranny. That includes access to food and fuel. We could lump those together. Food and fuel, control over property rights, what you can and can't do on your own property, and the taxes thereof. And the third one is access to things that prevent tyranny. Pew, pew. I'll let you figure out what that is. Pew, pew, pew. And I have no interest in politics, but when Captain Doofus up in D.C. started talking about, what do you need that for? Come on, man! Talking about relational to deer hunting. And I don't hunt, by the way. You know, as an expert on this topic, I will tell you flat out, the laughable notion that anybody could be so intellectually destroyed, so flat-brained, to think that the second has anything to do with, you know, come on, man, what do you need that for? You afraid the deer are going to be wearing a vest? What do you need that? The second has nothing to do with hunting. It has to do with tyranny. It's so despicable. I had no idea that was going on in Canada. I did not know you could travel between provinces if you were not, had the stab juice. I was like, is that really still going on in Canada? Yes, it is. I had some Canadians recently tell me that. Apparently it applies to all provinces. Old Justina Trudeau, excuse me, I meant Justin Trudeau, was on the news talking about how he was going to deprive a bunch of Canadians. Well, there's no Bill of Rights in Canada. What is he really depriving them, right? I mean, America, at least all the Americans I know, looked on in shock as we saw horrific things done in Australia. Australia gave up their rights after that thing in Tasmania. What was it, 1996 or something? And we've just seen incredible tyranny and horrific evils going on in Australia. One chick, she's really young and healthy, and she didn't get the stab juice. Stab juice, pretty funny, huh? Didn't get the stab juice, and they locked her away in a prison camp. They did! They put her in a prison camp. She had like a little yellow boundary. Like if she stepped past that, these evil, despotic, tyrannical demons said, "Well, we're going to give you like 2 more months or something in the, in this prison camp." Of course, they didn't call it a prison camp, but it was a prison camp. Americans were like, Australia, you gave them up, and this is the result. Look at this tyranny. So Australia's already done it. Canada was making big-time news 48 hours ago, talking about it. And now old Captain Happy in Washington, D.C. Come on, man! I was talking about it today, too. If you don't think there's a planned collapse going on, either your brain is deflated or you've been too busy working. Your brain is just deflated. It's like, I got other things to worry. I understand people being too busy, having to feed the wife and kids and pay the bills. I'm the same way. I'll be working till 5 a.m. tonight. I was up till 4:30 a.m. last night. I have several jobs. I get that. I have no wife or kids. I don't have a house payment or a car payment, yet I still struggle to pay the bills. I've been saying this for years now. I have no idea how somebody with like wife and kids and car payment and a house, how are they doing it? Even if they got a raise, they're still making a ton less money because inflation is off the hook. Gas prices are going up nearly every day. There's tons and tons of gas and oil reserves in the United States, but the evil people in Washington, D.C. don't want to, they want to starve people out. I've been saying this for years now too. Once you got people on their knees, yeah, you control the food and the fuel, you control their property, the aspects of their property via taxes and other things. You got them on their knees, it's over with. There's a saying that Lenin said, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, old grandfather to communism there, one of the greatest evils perpetrated on the face of this earth. And having lived in the Soviet Union, I can tell you, I know communism up close and personal. A direct quote from Lenin there, demon that he was. His quote was, the worse the better. The worse the better means the more you got people on their knees, begging for help with food and fuel and other things, yeah, the better it is for tyrants. Anybody that wants power over other people should never be given power. Any desire any human being has for power over other people is by definition, from the standpoint of metaphysics, evil. They are demonic and they are evil. That's not my opinion or it's my feeling, that's not my belief, it's a damn fact. They're evil. Tyranny is the flower or fruit of the tree of ignorance and desire for power over others. Anybody that wants power over others, yes, I'm repeating myself, is demonic, is evil, and tyranny is its fruit. And tyranny, once again, has one face only. The face of tyranny is anything that stands in the way of tyranny. Control the food, you control the fuel, you get people on their knees, you turn them into, I'm thinking like little defenseless, babies that are on their back. They can't do anything other than, poo their diaper and cry for food. You got people on their knees. This is exactly what tyranny loves. Most of the Americans and Canadians out there, they're asleep. They're sleepwalking. And they're clueless, and for them, I don't have a whole lot of respect. But I get it. They're just too busy paying the bills or worrying about paying the bills. But you need to wake up, because this is a planned collapse. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Period. Have a lovely week. Большое вам спасибо. И увидимся, as they would say in Russian. Yeah? Пока.